What's up, everybody? It's your boy DJ Reminisce. Penla Sarnu Pyapari Sat Sri Akal, Namaste Islam. And today I got a very special guest on Roots and Culture. It's a person that I've known for a long time, since my UK days. We've recently become very good friends in the last 5-6 years, probably longer, bro. I don't even know. And we're I started podcasting because I heard his podcast, and really enjoyed the shows. And he's just a great inspiration. Great for the culture. And this is a conversation that's a long time coming. I just want to introduce everyone to the world, Mr. Sat Mann. Welcome, bro. I'm looking forward to this, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I appreciate all your words. That's a great intro. I'm going to chop that intro up and use it on all my social media continuously, daily. No, it's thank you. And yeah, you have been a great friend throughout these years. And I appreciate, that you did podcast after listening to mine. I'm always sure that you did one before, but I think you did a music one, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, music one.
Yeah.
It's
not a proper podcast, was it?
No, 50-50, I guess. You know what it is, man. I liked your format. I loved, and we'll get to the details of that. But like we're talking offline here, and like every time when in these Twitter spaces we talk about podcasting, jira UK wale, like they bring yourself up, and the comments I hear is it was the format and the great questions that you asked. And I have to totally agree, man. Like I learned so much in those podcasts. Like I can tell you the specific ones and certain things. Like it was just phenomenal. So big ups to you, bro. Honestly, great work.
No, I never saw it as work, or I didn't. It didn't seem hard to ask certain questions. I just was interested, and I thought the questions that came out were just what I wanted to know. Basically, there was no grand scheme. I weren't thinking of an audience as such. I was just chatting like I'm talking to you, right? And it kind of worked, I think, because it was not polished. It wasn't radio polish, and we can talk about radio. Obviously, I did that, but this was very different to what I did before. And I think and I was kind of in a weird space personally in my life at the time as well. So all them things together, and it was new. People didn't really understand it, and I think that really helped, and a lot of luck as well. And I had great people on the show.
Yeah, and, man. Your guests were phenomenal. Like, and the cool thing is it's like I can tell you from my experience, it's very hard to get guests, and I'm assuming it's because of myself, and that's fine. But like the way you're able to pull some of these guests, because of who you are or what you represent, or I'm assuming from the previous podcast, right? Because all it takes is that one. And people want to tell their story. So like as a storytelling podcast, you nailed it, bro. Like it was so good.
To be honest, some of the musicians would come on and they would think I would talk to them about their album or the general questions, what influenced you, this album? What kind of tracks you have? Well, there's a Bhangra one, there's a remix.
Yeah,
there's a hip hop one or whatever, grime these days, right? Yeah. And then because I was asking them questions more like, if you didn't do music and you didn't have a creative outlet, what would you have done in your life? Did you ever struggle? Were there times when people turned you down? And they were a bit taken aback, thinking, well, no one's really, this is a bit personal, these questions. And I think because I used to be quite open about my own life and my struggles, that kind of opened them up, and then I caught them in a trap.
Yeah,
and they would just open up, right? And it was cathartic for both people, and I don't know, it just worked. It wasn't super planned, and I was just probably there at the right time, and it worked. It worked. So I'm happy. I'm happy to be known as
Professor Saab, man. The therapeutic
podcaster, or they're one of the original Desi podcasters. Yeah, and if that's all I ever do in my life, I'm happy. Even though I'm on YouTube now, this is a funny story. Yep. And my kids, I've got two girls like yourself, right? And they watch YouTube constantly, and they always ask, how many subscribers you got?
Yeah.
How many subscribers? And I'll be like, they go, have you got 1 million? Have you got a million? Right. For them, their level is if you've got a million, you're good. And if
Yeah.
you're under a million, you're shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I get the same thing all the time. How many
Yeah.
subscribers you got now, Dad? Probably negative at this
Yeah.
point, you
Yeah.
know?
How many views you got,
Yeah.
and it's interesting to see their sort of how they frame success in their eyes or good,
Yeah.
which has changed over the years for me. I've gone through each stage of what you think success is, because well, I'm sure we'll come across my radio days and how that worked and all the
Yeah,
other
man.
stuff.
Let's talk about those radio days because I can tell you. So when I used to come up in the summers and live in the UK with my nanke, there was the Verdi performance cars just by Punjab Radio there in the complex there. Yeah, we used to
Yeah,
sit there and detail cars all the time. And Punjab Radio was blasted all the time. So obviously I heard yourself, Shinji C, right? I'm talking like the days where you lot were smashing it on Punjab Radio. And then circling back whatever, say 10 years ago when your podcast started, and then when you came back on the scene sort of thing, it was wild to like, I recognize that voice, bro. Like that's the so and so
yeah.
from radio. So like, how'd you get into the whole radio thing? Or
Oh,
so did the radio stuff come first, or did the PDM Pangra stuff come first? Because I know you're a
yeah,
big you're influential in the band, and
yeah.
not to this you
Oh,
get the scene, right? Yeah.
yeah. So originally it started off from being Jugunu Bhangra group, a folk Bhangra dancing group, right? And that's how I got into music. I just a friend of mine called Jeevan Dahan, right? I'm going to shout him out at school, secondary school, second or third year. He gave me a cassette, and it was Bhangra Fever 2,
No way.
right?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
he goes, "Oh, listen to this." And I'd never really listened to. I listened to folk songs at home. My dad had Gurdas Man, Galit Man, the usual story, right? And which was pure folk, all lyrics really, and beautiful music. But he gave me Bhangra Fever 2, and because he kind of knew I enjoyed this music. Anyway, I put it on at home. I was just blown away by this music because there was two elements to this. They had traditional folk or Punjabi lyrics, and they had this Western music that just blew me away. I just thought, this is amazing. And I think I've been thinking about this because I knew we would talk about this, and I realized why Bhangra music in the UK works so well, because we had a generation of people who were kind of living two worlds: the Punjabi Desi world at home speaking Punjabi, but also at school with their mates talking in English and a mix of Punjabi, and had English friends as well. And we was influenced by Top of the Pops, UK music, plus the Punjabi side, and we're an amalgamation, we're a mix of the two. And then we had this music which represented that, a mix of both worlds, and it just blew my mind. And Deepak Kazanchi is a musical genius, right? I
Bro.
mean, if
Yeah.
that music's so beautiful, even now, it's so clean. Anyway, it blew me away, and I thought, I love this music, right? And then I just dove straight into this music, and I was listening to everything around that time. And then I came across DCS, obviously Hira, Apna Sangeet, and I saw Apna Sangeet, right? Something about Apna Sangeet that I really loved. I don't know what it was. Something you don't know why you like something, right? And I just really honed in on Sardar Gill. I think it was just his voice was very unique. He had this sort of
Swagger about him,
it's just something about him, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And I loved Apna Sangeet, and I still do. And I just got really into it. And I thought, I'm one of them people, if I really like something, I want to do it. I can't watch from the sidelines, right? And in anything I see that I really, really like, photography, it could be, or any kind of creative, if I can try and do it, I will attempt it. It might not be very good, but I'm going to give it a go, right? And
Yeah.
and I thought, how can I sing? And I started singing at home. And I used to sing in the van when we used to play football, five-a-side football.
Yep.
I think you guys call it soccer, but it's football.
Yeah.
And so, and
Yep.
but and it's I wasn't a good singer. I just knew the words because I used to speak Punjabi with my mom and my dad. It was kind of the thing. You speak Punjabi at home, you speak English with your friends, right? So luckily that was great for me because my Punjabi was okay. Yeah, it was good, better than a lot of my friends, right? So I just knew the words. And Jugunu Bhangra group were a big thing in Gravesend in Kent. They taught so many kids, and it was a way of just getting involved. And when I went to the first class, they said, "Oh, get in a group with the dancers." And I was like, no, I don't want to dance. I want to do the bullia. And they were like
No
looking at me.
way.
Yeah,
Wow, bro, that's
right.
dope.
Yeah, I go on and would do the bullia, right? And
Yeah.
I tell you who the doll player was. It was Machine Gun Billy, who plays with Jazzy B.
No way.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
first person in my whole life I ever sung, and he was the doll player. And anyway, he was amazing, right?
Bro,
at that time, I didn't really realize how good he was. So I started singing. I think he Jindamaya sung or something, right? He started playing the doll, and he's so good that when he played, I just felt comfortable with him because he knew when I was going to kind of make a mistake, and he would compensate and keep me in time because I didn't know about time. I didn't know about key. I didn't know nothing, right? I was just repeating things I heard on cassettes. And anyway, I loved it. And they gave me a chance, and I kind of become a backing singer to a backing singer. And, I was down the pecking order, basically, right? And I met Shin GC there at the first time as well. And there's a load of group of people I met, 4x4 dancers were all there at the time, all part of Jugunu, right? And what happened, I started doing a few shows, first few shows were with what became 4x4. And they used to have a modern dance. So they were dressed up in sort of modern gear, and they used to dance to Kamali Yardi by Sadara, right? And they were like superstars when they used to go to gigs. I mean, the girls loved them. They're all good looking guys. They're fantastic dancers. I thought, I want to be in this world. you get to sing. Girls like you, and you get to do all these gigs and weddings, and I just thought this is what I want to do. So, and what happened in that
star bell, man, ding ding,
it just became a thing, and it wasn't nothing about drinking. I wasn't even drinking in them days, right? I hadn't started. It was just about the vibe. Yeah, Bhangra was so big at the time, right? Bhangra music, the live shows, the lineups.
What year was this then?
Oh roughly? My god, it must be late 90s.
Okay,
late 90s.
So like right? in its heyday, like you're
in its heyday, right? Because some of the gigs were. We used to go to the Dome, and there were people like Jazzy B had just started, Safri Boys. It was like the creme de la creme, and it was just an amazing time, right? But what happened in Jugunu was 4x4. Them lads decided to leave Jugunu to form 4x4, and for whatever reason, we won't get into that, right? So they left, and they took along the singer as well, the main, who's a Bal. His name is Bal, right? And Power Rendawa. And so he went along with them as well. So they didn't really have a singer. They had another guy, Indrajit Baji. And I kind of sort of joined with him. So now I've moved up a pecking order. I'm not backing the backing, right? So anyway, and I'm getting there, right? And I just had to take him out, and then that was it. That was me, right? And anyway, he was fantastic. He's a really nice guy. He would really support me and help me with my Punjabi, my pronunciation. And I learned so much from him as well.
So that's cool, man. That's really cool. Because I can tell you here, Gonda, Gonda, like I had a couple of stads where, they would teach you the rags, teach you how to sing, but obviously Canadian born, it was difficult for them to teach me to pronounce right because they thought I was less of them, if you know what I mean. But when you find that a star that sits there and teaches you, right? Like, you know what I mean? It makes a difference. So props to you, man, that you had someone who would be able to, you could shadow and learn from.
The whole experience in Jugunu Bhangra group was fantastic. They gave me a stage when I didn't really deserve a stage. I was just a lad that liked singing Bologna, right? And now I'm singing on weddings and people's weddings.
That's cool, man.
And meeting bands, groups. Live scene was good at weddings, so you meet all. This is what helped me later on in my podcast. You see, because I met some of the musicians and got to know them.
Yeah.
They were young, I was young, and we were just having a whale of a time, right? And it was fantastic. And there was a few occasions where Indrajit Baji, right, he couldn't make some shows, you know. This was not our full-time jobs, you know. He had a family. So it was. I then got to the top.
Yeah.
And they had some more faith in me to think, okay, he could probably do it now.
Yeah.
You know, they probably still didn't think I was fantastic, but they thought, well, there's no one else, so let's give him a go, right? And and that just boosted my confidence, and I just kept doing it, and I just loved that experience, right? And
that's cool, man. Like you went for it, and you stuck your ground. You did your time, and you got the that's cool.
Yeah,
that's such a great story.
I mean, look, for a lesson for people listening, for younger people, it wasn't plain sailing. There was times when some people in the group were saying, you can't sing, you can't really pronounce, you're out of key, you're out of beat. And they would kind of look down on me, like you mentioned, right? And I just loved it so much, I didn't really give a shit.
Wow, right? Bro, that's props.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm doing this. I don't really care, I like doing it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep doing it until I get better, until they can't, I'm going to make myself valuable, because I would go to every show. I'm available.
Yeah, that's good though. Showing up is half the battle, right?
Yeah, always.
You got to show up, right?
Always.
I tell people all this, I can guarantee you, right? If you don't show up, that's quitting, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get, if you don't show up, there's zero success.
Yeah.
So you're setting yourself up for success there by showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. There were times I would just keep going, and they had a massive speaker at the time, a portable speaker. It's massive, right? And I was in charge of the speaker, and that was a bane of my life, this speaker, because it's heavy. To carry it to practice, I always used to take it home, because I would practice on my own with the at home, right? So that's cool, and one day my dad was so annoyed with this speaker, he goes, just get it out of this house. And we didn't have a car at the time. My dad didn't drive, and so we didn't have a car. And he goes, take it back to whoever you got it from. So I had to pick it up, and I had to take it to a place called Beaumont Drive, right? Well, further from Beaumont Drive, near Pier Road. It's a good, I'll say, half an hour walk on your own, let alone this big hefty speaker. Anyway, I carried it there.
Wow.
And I just remember all these sort of memories about it. No one wanted to look after the speaker because it was a pain in the ass, heavy old thing, right? But I loved it because I could practice on my own at home, making all the mistakes in the world. But I got used to reverb and how to stay away from the mic so it doesn't make a strange noise and all this kind of stuff, technique on the mic, don't keep it too close and when to keep it. I started learning all this stuff, right? And slowly, I got better. And this is when me and Shin GC really connected, because he was a door player, because Billy had left to go with 4x4.
4x4, yeah.
Yeah, so he had gone now. So then Steve also sort of took that mantle as well. And together, me and him really started gelling. He used to come around my house. I used to go to his shed. It was a shed. It wasn't a garage, right? And we used to do bouillon together. It was fantastic times, right? And he started getting into music production. He wanted to be a music producer, right? And he just said, he needed a singer. And obviously I thought could sing, right? So we started messing about and doing a few things. And we just had this thing about doing a online radio show. I go, wouldn't it be good to do it? Because we used to have a good banter with each other. We used to take the piss out of each other. And,
you guys are brilliant on radio, man.
We should just have fun, right? We used to wind each other up. We used to have arguments. Yeah. And we used to sometimes hate each other. I'll be quite honest, right? We used to have arguments but then we used to make friends. We like married couple we were.
I remember you guys were the first ones to basically review punk rock songs on radio.
Yes, yeah. We were.
In your own way, not like, oh, this song came out, oh no, that's rubbish or whatever. And whatever. And I was like, wow, man, these guys are dogging these songs on air. I'm like, I love these guys.
This is how we got this is how we got the gig in Punjab radio. So we recorded a demo. We heard about this radio station that's going to start. It's called Punjab Radio. It's going to be digital. Yep. We thought, wow, okay, let's go and try and get a job there. It's in Southall, about an hour away from Gravesend.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make a demo right, of us, you know, talking, being fantastic like we do, right? And we're really confident, right? And he goes, yeah, let's do it. So we recorded this demo and we reviewed an album on this demo and we absolutely caned it. We go, what the hell's this? We started going, this is out of beat. We didn't know what we was talking about, right? And like we were some super producers, right? And really,
Oh
we
wow.
just hammered this album. We thought because it was funny and because we didn't hear anything, any other people reviewing albums actually telling people how it was. It was always, oh, this is a great new album. 4 out of 5. We thought it's not 4 out of 5. It's shit, right? We just used to say it. And anyway, we
Do you
sent
remember
the
what the album was?
I do remember, and I'm going to tell you after we stopped recording.
Yeah.
The guy's still putting out music, and
Fair enough.
anyway, we sent it off, and we sent some laddu as well.
Yeah,
this is what we did, right? Anyway, they called us. They said, "Oh, do you want to come in for like an interview?"
Yeah.
And we thought, "Oh my god!" Right? Anyway, we went there. I swear, we put on suits.
Hey man, dress to impress. I like it.
We thought it was a proper interview, right? Anyway, we met the manager, Gummer, Mr. Gummer was.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Gummer. Yeah,
yeah.
I
Right.
tried to get a job there too when I was there, but I never ended up.
And he played our demo.
Yeah,
and we got in there early. You see, that's what it is, man. We got in there early. They didn't have many presenters then when we started because they just opened up. Anyway, he played our demo. He goes, "Look, you guys are good. I like you. You're quite funny, but you can't be dissing these albums like this." He goes, because he goes, that guy lives in Southall as well. He goes, they're going to come here and say, "Look, what are your presenters saying?" And we was like, "All right, we won't review albums, or we won't be rude." And they gave us a graveyard shift, like everyone does when they start in radio. 12 to 2, I think, in the morning it was, something like that. Yeah, or it was either 12 to 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like a 4-hour show you guys had.
Yeah, 12 to 4. No, and we used to think no one's going to be listening. So we went in that mindset of thinking no one's listening. We really didn't have we didn't know what we was doing, right? And we used to just talk like me and you were talking. And we used to just talk about the most stupid, random things about whether a kebab that has lettuce negates it being unhealthy. So, if you put more salad on it, does it overpower the sort of the bad part? It's stupid stuff, right? And because we were probably hungry at that time, right? But people started calling in at night, and we could see them.
I called in. I know I called in for sure.
I remember the lights were flashing, but they wouldn't allow us to pick up phone calls.
Oh,
they go,
right.
It's a bit at that time. Originally, they go, you're a bit. It could be dangerous. You lot picking up phone calls, right? And people are sometimes maybe had a few drinks as well at night,
and live on air, something gets said. Yeah.
And we was a bit sarcastic. We were a bit cheeky, and we didn't. We had quite big egos, I think. Looking back at it, we didn't sort of. We were like, I don't know. We had a bit of Gravesend sarcasm in us, right?
You didn't conform to normality.
No, it wasn't.
Great, because it was entertaining.
Well, people used to text in. We used to text, right, for songs. They would ask us, "Could you play?" We were like, "No, we ain't playing that." we would say their name, say, "Look, they've requested this song." We're like, "Nah."
You guys did.
Yeah,
yes, you guys did. Oh man, that was fun. So I ain't playing that. It's rubbish.
Yeah. So it wasn't a request show as such. We would ask them to request songs, but then not play them, right? So we would play our own songs that we liked, but any Punjabi ones, right? And anyway, people started liking it in the middle of this graveyard shift, so they moved us to drive time. 4 till 6, just before the religious section, right? So
same story with me, bro. Similar story with me, but keep
going. So they moved them and moved us, and it got bigger. Obviously, people are awake at this time, and a lot of kids
people
started
in the cars too, right? With whoever.
And people and a lot of young kids started listening to us that were asleep at that graveyard shift, but they're awake now, and they started really getting into it. Started getting a little bit of a name, and I remember people when I used to play football, when I used to drive back home, right, and they go, "Oh, I just heard your show. You guys are, I started getting really happy about this. I thought, this is fantastic. This was just a random demo we made. Never thought about going onto radio, and it worked, right? It really, really worked, and it just got harder. I think Shin GC, he got a job there full time. He started becoming the main Ford. I was working, and
Yeah.
we had a little falling out over that he got a job there, and he didn't tell me until
Oh wow, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, because I
and
remember it was kind of abrupt where you guys kind of separated. It wasn't like a
yeah.
gradual thing where I'll be leaving, whatever. It was just like, okay, one day, and we're like,
Disappear. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you
So
just
that's what
disappeared.
happened. He might disagree on the story of this. So I don't know if you want to get him on one day and ask
Okay.
him, but I think that's what happened. And at, at that time, I was already in PDM. Now the way I joined PDM,
Before you go to the
Munde,
PDM story,
yeah,
I remember that he played a song I think that he produced with your vocals.
yeah, yeah,
I
100.
want that song, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I've
just
got
can't
it somewhere.
remember what the hell it is. Was
It
it
was
on his
100.
album?
Yeah, we done two together actually. We did one
Yes, correct.
for an album called Sweet Like Laddu, and that was for uh,
Fat Boy
LL
Sing.
Fat Boy Sing. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, I have the vinyl.
Yeah,
I have the vinyl back here.
you had
Yeah, it's
yeah,
blurry, but
you
I've got
do.
it. Yeah, I'm gonna look for it. I
Is my
have it.
name on the back? Is it? Is it on the back?
I'm gonna check. I'll look
Yeah,
for it.
I think it is on the back. For me, that was amazing to have my name on a cassette on an
Yeah.
album
What was the
because that's
song
how,
you did on that?
on Nache de Punjabi.
That's the
Nache
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'll look for it. I'll send you a
Nache de
thing.
Punjabi. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was for his album. So we did that. That was great. That's the first time in the studio. I worked with Pete Ware.
Yeah.
Aman Hair did the percussion.
Right.
So that was crazy. If you look back at it, Aman Hair is a massive producer now,
Buddy, legend, bro.
and he did the percussion for one of my songs, which
That's well.
blows my mind. Right, I'm just super lucky, right? And worked with Pete Ware, who's worked with some of the best. Yeah, and
That's nuts,
it's
bro.
just
If you think about it, you were like, you're like, oh, I can't even fathom. Like,
it
that's
was just
wow, bro.
odd,
And that
odd times,
second
right?
record, Harnia, you were saying, that's the one that I heard that you guys play on radio.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
100, yeah.
Yeah,
Like I
Harnia,
said,
sorry.
people used to request other songs. We
Yeah.
played our own song.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
So now
So
from there you go to how did the PDM thing happen then? Was it through
again,
radio or
no,
your
pure
own?
luck, pure luck. So
Okay.
what happened was I went to college with Raj Desi
Okay.
and his brothers Daljit Desi, and their dad is Bal Singh Desi, who's a singer.
Okay.
So I said to them, look, I love to do backing vocals. I don't want to be the main singer. Right. This is how I always get in, you see. I always say, look, I'm in the background. You won't even know I'm there. Give me
Yeah.
a tambourine
Yeah.
and I'll just support. But the thing is, I always worked hard. I'd always turn up on time. I'd always help shift equipment. I'll do everything that was asked of me. You know, I wasn't I wasn't a burden on anyone.
Where does that work ethic come from, bro? Like I'm curious.
I don't know. You know, I just think
Was it that desire to like just be the best or
no, I tell you, the work ethic comes from, I just don't think I'm very good at stuff or
Wow.
very naturally talented. I don't think I am at all. Right. So the only way I try and compensate that is to work really hard, harder than the next man who may
Wow,
be,
man. That's some of the best shit I've heard ever in my life. Thank you.
yeah,
Honestly, that's brilliant.
That's how I do it because I haven't got a voice like JK or Raf Safira or someone like that, you know, and I'm never going to, and I'm never going to be that person. But I wanted to be that person, you know, so I thought I'm going to have to work really hard. They make it look so natural. I'm sure they work hard. I know they work hard.
Yeah.
But for me, that's how I did it. I thought if I had to work hard, then I'm not a burden on them. I don't want to go there and take the piss because this is their thing, right? So I turned up and they go, yeah, come. And I did some backing vocals. Their dad thought I was okay, great. He goes, yeah, he needs a backing vocalist, you know, it helps. And then slowly at weddings, I would do a song. You know, I'll get one little song for myself. And it was fantastic to be with a band. I mean, talking about the love of music, to be in a band with your mates, it's the stuff of dreams. Because that's what when I used to watch VH1 and they used to talk about making of the album and the band were together in the studio and they were
best
joking.
shows, bro. The making of the
remember
band,
them?
making the album. Oh yeah, I love those documentaries.
And we used to drive around in a white van, rented out, and we used to go to gigs in Birmingham. And the trip up there was just an experience of jokes.
Always a journey, yeah. Always a
right?
journey.
Stopping off at service stations and bumping into, say, DCS going down south.
Yeah.
That would happen, right? We used to chat with each other. Where are you guys going? Well, we're going Birmingham, and they go,
Yeah.
and that whole thing was absolutely amazing. It's my dream come true. That was, to be in a band and coming home, after a few drinks. Fantastic stories, things I will never ever forget. That vibe on stage when everyone's tight and it sounds tight, and you look at each other and you think, yeah, we're feeling this. And I used to be next to Raj, the Dolaki player. They used to have stops in the song, and we'll do it all on time. And it was something went through you, and it just felt fantastic. And I used to always have imposter syndrome. I used to always think, I'm not very good at this. I'm not a good singer. I forget the words sometimes, and pronunciation's not fantastic. And I always sing off key, and sometimes I'm out of beat. I used to always keep. Sometimes I wasn't most of the time, obviously, but I used to feel I was, right. And I think it's a bit of insecurity. So I always work harder than the next man.
Man, but I hope you're proud, because you're a pure representation of the Punjabi music culture for UK Bhangra of that time.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, you were there, living and breathing it, and repping to the
yeah.
best of your ability. Like, props, bro. Like, I really hope when you look back and you think, God damn, man, that was me.
I do now. I definitely do now, and I'm
no
a bit
one can
older.
take that away from you. That's the best part.
No, and but at the time, PDM in itself was a great story. It's about a group of guys in the park who were playing football, who wanted to make a band. And so they made a band, and they said, who can sing? Well, my dad sings a bit. Let's ask him. We need a drummer. You play drums then. So
Yeah.
the onus was on that person to go learn drums.
Wow. No way.
Yeah. And we need a bass player. Jin, you're going to have to play bass. So he learned bass. It was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whether he wanted to play bass or not, or whether he loved it as an instrument, probably, who knows? He got to love it, right? He had to love it. Yeah. That's how they were formed, and it's beautiful, I think. And signed to Multitone, if you remember Multitone.
Yep.
So
I got you guys' vinyl here somewhere.
Yeah, released albums. It's fantastic. It was a great experience. And
do you remember? Were you involved in the recordings too then at the time, going to the studios and stuff?
No, actually wasn't. No, because really there was a core of obviously Uncle, who's going to do the vocals.
Right, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then probably Daljit, who's the music guy really, and probably Jin and Raj. And we used to pop in sometimes. I can't remember if I did. I don't think I did. With them, I never recorded in the studio with them.
Okay, I thought maybe background vocals or something.
Yeah, no. But we did try and do some new songs, me and Raj. We had a bit of spare time. We go, Pete, look, can we just quickly use the allocated time to do some? We didn't tell Kiss Records of that, but we're doing our own little thing on the side as well, right?
I hope you kept those demos.
I think there must be somewhere, but yeah, I mean, it was just a great time. And with the radio, like I said, I stopped Punjab radio, so I was doing two things: radio, PDM as well, and slowly. Obviously, the band situation in the UK started to simmer down with DJs coming in. The time of RDB and B21 come along.
Yep.
With PAs, and we've done a few PAs, but we were a live band, and it just, we half our mates went with us on stage with the door players. Me doing some backing vocals. Uncle, where's the other guys? I missed the other guys as well.
Yeah.
And I think Uncle wasn't very comfortable doing PAs, a live singer. He was a bit like, it didn't work, right? And slowly it went. Then we never stopped, they never ended. And I think at that time, I stopped Punjab radio, and I may have come back for a few shows here and there on the radio, but I started really getting into a new hobby I found, which was drinking.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I just gone on the road to just drinking and going out, partying, and my focus had kind of gone off. And I think I started sort of realizing my limitations because I didn't practice.
Right.
singing, that you need to practice, right? You need to
Yeah.
do your vocals. And
I'm
I would do
also assuming like a certain part of your DNA was taken from you too, from the whole from what I so as I'm listening to you, the way you lit up and your face is sparkling in your eye when you talk about you on stage singing with your mates, being in the band, that's obviously a core part of your
yeah,
DNA, right? So,
yeah,
and I could see when someone takes that away from you, how much of an impact it would be.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying
Y-
that's why you started partying and drinking or whatever, but it's imagine if someone like took my turntables away from me, said you can't DJ anymore. Like
yeah.
I don't know what I would do.
I no, I think I agree, because I think my ultimate goal probably was to have a band. I wanted to be like DCS,
Mm,
where it's Shin's a great singer, but his band are like his mates.
yeah.
They're very teamwork ethic group, DCS, and I wanted
Yeah.
that, right. And I wanted that, and I thought I want to do shows like this, and I think, yeah, probably the bands going. There weren't no demands for live bands, and I just weren't practicing, to be honest. I think I got to the point, because I kind of was never in the super forefront. I was always in the back. I kind of thought, I don't need to try as hard, because there's no focus on me. And if I mess up, no one's really going to know.
Mm,
So I don't know. I just kind of, I started, I got lazy, I got lazy. And with the radio was easy, because it was just my personality. And I just was that person, right? I didn't have to work hard at it. And even then, so it was easy. I could do
yeah.
that. Do a live show. It's easy. I'm just doing the backing vocals. And I lost that work ethic. I lost it, because I started thinking, I've done it now. I've done it, where before I wanted to do it, I wanted to get there, but I was doing it now. And I just got comfortable, and I never saw it. It sort of just slowly crept on me, and I was drinking more than I was actually
Mm,
doing stuff.
right.
So, right. And eventually I weren't doing nothing but drinking. So, and then that's where I kind of disappeared. Like you said,
Yeah,
I kind
man.
of,
You did. I remember.
yeah, I wasn't far. I was in the pub. I mean, I was in the, you could have,
Come say
and
hello.
you come and say hello, right? And I spent a good many years there, and some crazy stories, and it was just, I became known. Whereas, as you mentioned, very kindly, people talk about you with your podcast, and Bhangra music and Punjab radio, and because you obviously you're from Canada, and so you see what's on the media scene, but you don't see what's happening personally to me behind the
Yeah,
scenes. But
100%.
people knew me, my friends could sort of see a descent. Really, they thought, this guy's not,
Mm.
he's a bit of a pisshead now, really.
Oh
and
man.
and people started forgetting about all the stuff I did, and
Mm.
that brings more resentment, because then people are now um, aligning you with something negative, rather than before people used to put you down as something positive.
Yeah.
Sat does music, he's on radio, and when people started saying, "Oh, he don't do that anymore. No, he's finished. He's finished." That's what they used to say. He doesn't do nothing. That made you more resentful. So you drink more, you get angry more, and you look at other people doing stuff, and you're envious, because
Yeah.
you know deep down you could do something, but you're stuck in this mire of alcohol and drugs, right? And don't get me wrong, I had some fantastic times on alcohol and drugs, but kids, no, do not go down that path, right? Because
Yeah.
where it ends is all it wants to do is take you on your own. It will kill everything else around you,
Yeah.
and it's a terrible place to be in. And I couldn't see it for years. Denial is what they call it. Denial. I'll be like, no, I'm just having fun. Everyone's having fun, and being hungover all weekend was my idea of fun. And I just got stuck. And I tell you, this is what happened. I used to sort of skip work because I was hungover, and to recover, I used to go to the pub again.
Oh
And
wow.
if you go in a day into the pub, there's usually the old regulars that kind of live in the pub, right? And
Yeah.
these guys, and but what I was doing was listening to podcasts. So I'd while away hours drinking beer, listening to podcasts. And I used to listen to Mark Maron on a show called WTF, What the Fuck?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And he would interview, actors, comedians.
Yeah.
I used to really get and a lot of actors and comedians, especially comedians, had a lot of issues with substances, and they've got quite colorful lives, and they look at the world very differently. Comedians, I really like comedians, where they can sort of see something that we all see, but kind of twist it and make you laugh, obviously. And I love the way they look at the world. Anyway, I really enjoyed these shows, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could interview people, and ask them about their lives, and people that I from afar looked like they were doing it, they were successful. How have they kept focused? How have I lost that focus that I had when I was younger? And I thought maybe I could do a podcast. Wonder if there's any like Punjabi ones. Is there any Punjabi ones? And I looked around online, and there wasn't. And I thought there's got to be some. There were some music ones as well, Punjabi music. But I thought, I don't want music. Yeah. I don't want music. But even though I love music, but I don't want the music. I just want to talk, and I don't want to talk about their album either. I just want to talk about them and how have they become successful, how have they navigated life better than me, basically. And that was my thesis of what I was going to do, right? And I thought, how do I do a podcast? And obviously I had some microphones at home, being from a band and radio. So I had stuff, but then I thought, I need to work out how to do this podcast stuff. What do you need? Do you need a license? And because on the podcast, there was swearing. There would, and I thought, you can't swear on radio.
No.
And I was really focused on the swearing. I thought, how can you swear? So, but the people kept saying, podcasting's like the Wild West. There's no regulations at the time, right? This is back in 2014.
Yeah.
And I started, YouTube, look at YouTube, how to start a podcast. Then you needed this, RSS feeds. You need to have this, you need this, anyway, I got down this rabbit hole of, for anyone listening, if you want to do something new, you would Google it, wouldn't you? Go on YouTube and look at, how to, but problem is you can go down a rabbit hole. That's all you do. All you do is watch videos about how to do it and never do anything.
Yep.
Yeah. So you think you're doing things by watching other people do it. So you think you're learning, and by learning, you think, I'm progressing here. I'm progressing, but actually you're not. There's nothing there. You haven't got. Once you put the laptop down, you're in the same position you was when you started. You might.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So it was all about action, and I thought I had to go back to when I was younger. I thought, how did I get into Bhangra music? How did I join PDM? How did I get on? It's because I did something. When we sent a demo to Punjab Radio, we didn't go on YouTube, but there wasn't YouTube around. We just did it. We go, let's make a demo. And we just started plugging things in and we didn't know how to do it. Like, get a mixer. And luckily Shin was quite music orientated. He kind of had an idea, but I didn't know. And I've got to tell you, I missed out something. When me and Shin, before we went to Punjab Radio, we tried to start an online radio station called Asia FM. And it was online for about a month. And we were streaming songs. This was way before
FM.
Asia FM. You wouldn't have heard of it. We had business cards and everything, mate. And because he was going to India, and we said, if you're going to India, make your business cards. I would have been known as, what was I? Marketing director of right, which meant nothing really. But so we kind of had an idea, and I think that was in my mind about podcasting. I remember I used to do some stuff like this, and so that was it. I got the gear. I had a laptop. I had a MacBook, which I brought for this specific purpose because I needed a good workhorse, and I had some microphones. Then I thought, I need to interview people now. I don't know, obviously, who am I going to interview, right?
Yeah.
And I was looking around. I didn't know. Because obviously I didn't have nothing to show them. I didn't have a show, right? And I thought, what am I going to call it? And I was going to call it Sat Mann Talks. That's what I was going to call it first, right?
I like that.
And which became the SMT.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But originally it was going to be called Sat Mann Talks SMT, and I brought I brought the domain name. That was my first step into the world. Yeah. I've got a website, right? I've got the domain name. I own it for a year, £8, right? And I didn't know, and I thought, well, okay, so maybe I could interview someone in Gravesend. Gravesend's got a few characters in music and Bhangra dancing. But then I asked this guy who was into martial arts. I thought he looks like an interesting guy. I asked my friends who owned the gym, DFC Gym in Gravesend. Big shout out to them. They do jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. They're open 7 days a week. If you're down there, go check them out. Good shout, wasn't it? That was a good shout. All right. So they said, oh, why don't you interview this guy called Prab Bara? He does jiu-jitsu. He's a vegan. He's quite before veganism became popular. So I thought he sounds interesting. So he came around my house. So I interviewed him. I loved him. I thought he was a really nice guy, really calm, really kind. And he talked about his life, and I loved it. And I thought, this is it. I'm doing it, right? And anyway, I got one recording. Okay, who am I going to interview now? What about? I had a friend, and he wanted to be an MP in Parliament, a member of Parliament, and his name was Tandesi.
Yep.
And
Tandesi,
he was a councillor at the time.
Yeah.
For the Labour Party, but he wasn't an MP, but he wanted to be one.
Yeah, man, I don't know, he's your homie. That's cool, man.
Yeah, and he came around my house, and I remember this. My mum made him Punjabi jar, and that we sat down. We just talked about his life. How I go, what's your aim? You know, he goes, yeah, I want to be an MP. I want to represent Gravesham at the time. So I had him, and then I thought, who can I interview now? And I thought, what about this guy, Sikh Awareness Society? Yeah, SAS they were called, and they used to try and stop people that have been or abusing people, you know, sexual abuse. And I thought he's an interesting guy. So I interviewed him in Southall. Then I had 3 interviews now. And then I got Shin GC. I interviewed him, 4 interviews. I haven't published them. They're just on a hard drive.
So how'd you get, so you'd piece it out with Shin GC at this time then? Like you guys were cool?
Yeah. We started, that was a time where we kind of started talking again. I said, look, I'm trying to do this podcast thing now. Yeah. Anyway, he goes, how you been? I go, I'm good. How you been? What you up to? I go, what are you up to? He goes, oh, nothing much. He goes, nothing much at the moment. I go, and he goes, what about you? I go, I'm doing a podcast, mate, you know, and, you know, trying to be better than him, right? And I go, do you want to come on it? And he goes, yeah. And he came on, and I recorded his show as well. Had 5, and I kept going on about podcasting to my wife.
So none of these are published, right?
None of these are published. They're on a hard drive. I'm running out of space on my hard drive now, right? And my wife goes, look, stop going on about this bloody podcasting, because like for a year, that's all I've been going on about, looking online, you know, trying to get guests. And she goes, either release them or shut up about it.
Yeah.
And I was falling in that trap of just thinking I'm doing stuff, but not actually doing stuff. So I put it on there and I published it. And I thought, there we go. I'm going to get thousands of downloads. This is
so which one was your first one you published then?
The first one was Prab Bara, the martial artist.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I've heard them all. So
yeah, that was the first one. And obviously hundreds or thousands of people never downloaded it. As you know, right? It doesn't work that way. You just think you put it out there and people will come. Yeah. Right. But they don't. You got to tell people it's out there. Anyway, but I did, a lot of people from the gym that he went to listen to it. And a lot of people really liked the style that I interviewed him. Now, I want to be clear about this because a lot of people talk to me about my style of interviewing. Yeah. It became a thing. Some people just come on, I'll go, that guests used to say, oh, I like the way you interview people. I like your style. In my head, I'm thinking, I don't know what you're talking about because I don't have a style. I know I do now, but that's just me. Like even if we weren't recording them and then me and you were sitting down chatting, this is how I just talk, right? And I ask questions. Oh, well, how'd you do that then? What you worried about, you know?
You know what it is? It's not style. You got like mediata. It's like you want the real juice. You know, you want to hear like what makes you tick. You know, what makes you think, like, why did you make these decisions up to this point, right? It's that investigative sort of in a respectful way, not out of jealousy. It's like, you know what, this is really cool what you did, but how did you get to this point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
just like me that way.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I'm probably just very nosy, right? And if I had, so with Inquisitive, the artist. Yeah. So when I interviewed him, he told me a story about how he's upstairs in his room and his mum called him for roti. You know, like our parents used to go, you know, come on, eat, you know, food's red, roti banegi.
Yeah, he said
And
the same story on mine too. Yeah.
so he goes, when I
Right.
got up, he spilt, right? And that's how he gets them patches and blotches that he has on his
Yeah.
fantastic artwork, right? That's how it happened. He goes, oh, that looked quite cool. And he goes, I thought I'll try it on another painting. And what I asked him later on, after he told me that story, I said, do you ever think if you never spilt that glass, what would have happened to your art? Would you have ever gone down that road? Or do you think you would have gone somewhere else, something more conformist, something more standard, something less inquisitive?
Brilliant
And
question, man.
he was like, I haven't really thought about it. And I go, you know, I go, and I said to him afterwards, I said, that's what I sometimes think. What happened if we walked through this door and didn't walk through this door? And I used to think, say if I didn't meet my wife and I married some other lady, then I wouldn't have the kids I have now.
Yeah.
I would have different kids, but then I wouldn't have, it'd be a parallel universe. I wouldn't have known these children that I love so much now. I would have had these other kids that I love. But what about them? It's best that I don't know them. And anyway, that's kind of weird shit I think about.
But
yeah. I mean? Like, what are you going on about, right? And I think, well, you know, what if PDM didn't ask me to join, or they said no, or if Jugunu thought, you know, do that become a dancer, maybe I wouldn't have sung, you know, maybe if you didn't make a demo, or if you didn't send a laddu, maybe that was the point. They thought these guys look like jokers. Let's call them in. They give us laddu as well. Yeah. Who knows? I always used to think about these stupid things. That's why I started asking people these questions. And I don't think they've ever been on interviews before where they were asked questions like that. And you got to remember, we're not in studios. We're actually in a safe space, like a Costa Coffee with Inquisitive, or in my house, or even in my car. Some interviews with Suki Bart was in my car in Birmingham, right? So we're in relaxing situations. And because the surroundings were not a studio, they were talking like they were not in a studio, and it wasn't an interview. They started talking like friends, and that's why they became relaxed. And a lot of guests would message me afterwards, said, "Oh, you know what? I think I told you too much, too many personal things there. Do you think?" I said, "Look, it's fantastic. When you listen back to it, it's great." And I would never send it to them, because then they'll start trying to edit it.
Yeah,
and And I don't know if you listen. My shows are not edited at all. A, because I can't be asked.
Yeah.
And B, they're very, very long.
Yeah.
Right. I would obviously normalize them, make sure the sound's good, and we both on levels.
I don't even do that. I don't think. Like on this one, I'm just gonna chuck it out.
Chuck it out. That's the way podcasting is, right? Don't over produce a podcast.
Yeah, I'm just
right?
gonna chop the beginning, chop the end.
Yeah, exactly. Just make me sound good, all right? That's all I want. And
bro, you sound like a rock star. Don't worry.
And that's why I put them out, mainly because of laziness. I thought it's just too much work, right? Because I wanted one a week. That was my aim, and that became my style of interviewing. It became this sort of slightly laid back. All right, what happened next? Or it just became a thing. I don't know. And then slowly, other shows started coming out where they were real talk. They started calling it, or no holds barred questioning, and I started seeing them on like TV shows and radio, and a BBC Asian network had shows where it wasn't about music, it was about the person. And I remember all that, and I thought, I'd do that. I've done that shit for years. I've been doing it for years.
So at what point did you realize, like, was it one specific interview or one guest where you're like, holy shit, like this is real now, man? Like this British Asian podcast, because that's what it was originally called.
Yeah.
Right. Then it changed over to SMT.
Yeah. So remember, it was going to be called Sat Mann Talks.
Yeah.
I got nervous. I thought, no one knows who Sat Mann is. It sounds a very egotistical thing to call a show after your name, right? Yeah. And if I'm going to go to potential people to come on a show, they're going to say, "What's your show called?" It's called Sat Mann Talks. Yeah. And they're going to say, "We don't know who the fuck you are, mate." Right? So I thought, if I call it British Asian Podcast, it's simple, right? You know what it is. It's a British Asian. You're British cool, Asian,
bro. Like when I first, so it was a name that draws you in, bro. Like I'm thinking, British, who the fuck is this guy? British Asian Podcast. I'm about to die, right? And he's like, oh, holy shit! Like you know, like at what point did you like, wow, this is actually going well? Because I know you were up. I think you were nominated for a media award, right?
Yeah.
So that's like, at what point, or was it an interview or something? Someone called you, and my wife ran in and saw something. Like, what was it that you're like, okay, this is going well, man. Like, this is actually working out.
Well, yeah, I think about after about the fifth or sixth episode, people started messaging me to come on the show. I thought that's a good
Wow, that's
success.
cool, man.
Yeah, so people want to come on it now, right? And
Yeah.
so I was just saying yes to everyone because I needed guests. And
Yep.
but what happened was I interviewed a few people and they said, "Oh, you know what? You should I think you should go for the Asian Media Awards. I think you got a really good chance." And I was like, "What is that?" I did not know, right? Because remember, I've been out of the scene. I've been in the pub
Yeah.
for 10 years,
Bro,
right?
I didn't know what they were until you were posting it.
Yeah. So I'd never heard of them, and they just started. I think the year before, and someone said, "Oh,
Okay.
or 2 years before." They said, "Look, I think you got a good chance." I said, "Nah." I go, "No, I'm not." Again, imposter syndrome. I thought, no, I'm not that good. I'm not on that level. Anyway, I got shortlisted. I could not believe it, right? And so if you get so you have to go to ITV Studios in London first to see if you've been shortlisted. So I was invited to that first, and just to see if I was shortlisted, and I was. Just to go to the ITV Studios. Remember, my podcast was made on my dining room table, right? You literally with bits of free software and YouTube videos, and just interviewing my friends, people I knew beginning. So to go to ITV Studios where this is proper broadcasting, right? Real presenters, right? And it's fantastic. And I met some like famous people, and they go, "Oh, what do you do?" I go, "I've got a podcast." And they were like, "What's a podcast?" And I was thinking, if you don't know what podcast, you work in broadcasting. I knew podcasting was a thing. I thought this is going to be big, right?
Yeah.
I just knew it.
Yeah.
And but
How many conversations did we have, me and you, about this?
yeah,
Hundreds, bro. Like,
yeah,
even today, like even before we started, we're like, there's just not enough podcasts.
no, no. But it's a weird thing because when I put a post up today on my Instagram about I made an ebook. I'm an ebook.
Yeah, I saw
And
that. Yeah.
yeah, the ebook was how to download a podcast. And the second, and it was, and the second ebook was top 10 podcast apps for Android and iOS.
Yeah.
I had to explain to people, right?
Yeah.
Because I thought if they're going to listen, they're going to need to know how to listen to this thing.
Yeah.
Because even the guests that were coming on thought, what radio station is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I go, mate, we've just been talking for 2 hours. I'm telling you, it's a podcast, right? It's not a radio, right? Anyway, I started getting sick of it. So I thought I'm going to do this ebook, right? So they can explain it.
Yeah.
And it was a novelty, and a few people knew. They thought, all right, podcasting. Yeah. I listen to Joe Rogan. That's what you're doing, ain't you? A podcaster. And they go, well, check it out, and it became this cool thing, podcasting. It was new. No one else had done it. That's kind of probably why I got shortlisted. There's no one else. They put me in the best blog category, right?
Fair enough. I could see why they did that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't have a category for podcasts.
Yeah,
they have now. They have now, but they didn't at the time, right? And I was up against a beauty blogger, YouTube beauty blogger. I can't remember the others. So a Bollywood sort of guy who had a website, Bollywood things. Anyway, so I took my wife to Manchester, was the awards, and there were people from Emmerdale and there, EastEnders. They had the whole they had the whole team from the BBC Asian Network there. Yeah. And
with a job offer or what?
Huh?
No, with a job offer?
I know it was amazing to be in that room full of actors, and I just thought, wow, this is when I thought, shit, I'm doing all right here, right? And so it came up on the big screen, best blog. My name came up, British Asian podcast, Sat Mann, right, on a massive screen, and it was presented by a lady who does the news. Lisa, I think it's Lisa Aziz, or I could be wrong. Can't remember which year it was. But anyway, it was just to see it on stage. And I didn't win. I lost to the beauty blogger. And look, fair enough. The world needs more people explaining how to put makeup on. Then I wasn't upset. Obviously, I was disappointed because I thought, I've been talking about alcoholism, domestic violence, our attitude towards disabled people in the community, some deep subjects, right? And I've lost to a beauty blogger. I just thought there's more value in what I was doing. That's slightly egotistical, but I thought better than putting makeup on. But then that was my first inkling No offense to any ladies that put makeup on.
Yeah.
You crack
No
on.
offense, please.
Yeah,
I
you
don't want
crack
the
on.
bashing or emails and text. Like,
No, 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 no. I just want to say to all them women, you're beautiful even without the makeup. So, but the point being, that's my first point. I realized in this game, in the whole world now, it's about numbers. Yeah.
Yep.
So
clicks and views.
Yeah, it's clicks and views, and that's my first inkling about it, because I thought you could do really good work, but if people can't see a metric, they can't hear people saying to you, "Oh, your show's really good." They want to see a number. They want to see that like button or subscriber number, and that's when I realized, because that beauty blogger has millions of subscribers, right? And and it's me with my show made on a dining room table. And I did show them the statistics on my downloads, which were in the thousands, by the way, at that time. But that it's not enough. So I lost there, and I thought, fine, fair. I was a bit deflated, but actually, I think that week after, that's when Inquisitive said he'll come on the show. So it puts you back up, and that's what it was, a great lesson in life, And even now, so it's not a straight path. You're not gonna. It's not going to be success. It's going to be failure, success, failure, success, failure. Oh, it's kind of a success because I didn't get a failure this week. It's up and down. So what I realized, what I learned to do, because I'd stopped drinking then, and I had to manage all my emotions as well, right? And was to think, when I get a super yes from Inquisitive or whoever it is, Amit Chana, the act, that I'm up here, but don't get super elated. Just great. Think that's fantastic. Yeah. Because next day someone's going to say no to you, and then you don't have a super down. Don't get really down, but don't get too high. So you just need to be on a level and understand these are ups and downs in life, right? And people are going to say yes. Some are going to say yes. Some are going to say no. Some may just think you're shit and don't want to come on. Fine. Some are busy. Some are busy.
I get more no's than yeses.
Yeah, same. So, yeah. But that's the way it is. So, but the more but you're going to get more yeses, the more you ask. But you got to remember that you're going to get more no's as well. So you just got to keep asking. You got to keep asking, right? And it's like a boxer. You just keep punching, and hopefully you'll knock someone out, and they'll be like, yeah, I'll come on. And people are busy as well, right? People are busy. And that's one of the reasons I traveled to people. There's a guy who called me the guerrilla podcaster, because I travel all around the country. Now, the reason I traveled is I really wanted the sound to be good. I didn't want to do it on Skype, and which is ironic because the SMT was purely on Zoom. But at the time, I would travel everywhere, and because I didn't want to give them a chance for them to say no to me. Yeah. Because they then could say to me, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy because I can't travel down." Don't worry, I'll travel up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, really? All right." And then it's less.
I'm committed now.
Yeah, it's less barriers for them to say no, right? And that was a tactic of mine, and it was hard work. A lot of bloody driving up and down the country, and for one interview, literally, that's just 1 week's interview. For a 6-hour day, and but anyway, I just built it up and up and up, and people just liked it, I suppose. And the following year, I got nominated again, same media awards. This time, I lost to Jay Shetty. Yeah, he's an ex-monk, if anyone doesn't know who Jay Shetty is. But now Jay Shetty's massive, isn't he?
Yeah, big brand.
Yeah, and he does interviews all the great people. Now they're fantastic, famous people. So anyway, I lost to him because I remember, this is a funny story, but I was in the magazine. You have a magazine, and they have all like the nominees, and I was in it. I go, look, and anyway, there was like a double spread on Jay Shetty, and my wife goes to me, "Is he in your category?" And I went, "Yeah." She goes, you ain't beating him. I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "He's got a double spread. You got a little box over there, right?" And I go, "He's going to win, right?" And he's got beautiful green eyes as well, or blue eyes. And I haven't. So he's bound to win, weren't he? Anyway, so he won. I've got to give it to the Asian Media Awards. They've always been fantastic with me. They really supported me, right? 100%. The organisers and the people. And Umbreen was absolutely fantastic. She sadly passed away, so rest in peace, Umbreen. She was so kind to me, and she was such a lovely person, and but they've always been super supportive. And But I've got a thing about award ceremonies. So now, mainly because I didn't win, but it's no one should really tell you that you're good and you're not. Here's an award. That kind of concept doesn't make sense to me now, as I'm, a bit older and wiser, because who are they to say you're good and you're not, and you're worthy of a glass thing that you put in your house, right? Anyone doing something, if you're out there doing a podcast or a YouTube video, don't look for other people's validation. Don't wait for them to say, oh, you're good. You just keep doing what you're doing, right? And you'll find your audience. We're living in this world now with this social media acceptance. We want people's validation. We all do. We all like likes and shares and all this nonsense, right? But it means nothing. It means nothing. Because I said to someone, I think my daughters, I said, look, say if you do they want to do a YouTube channel. And I said, say if you get 1,000 subscribers, I go, the week after, you're going to want 2,000. And then you're going to want 5,000. And then you're going to want 1 million. And then when you got 1 million, you're going to want 2.5 million. And then you're going to want 3 million. And then you're going to want 5 million. And then you're going to, I go, it's never going to end. You're never going to be satisfied. And that's what they want you to do, to more and more and more. At some points, you've got to sit back and think, you know what? I'm happy with what I got. I'm doing all right. I'm doing something that no one else is doing. I've got a bit of a name for what I've done now, which is fantastic. I'll always, my friends say to me in PDM, they go, Sat, you'll always be known as the podcaster. I go, that's fantastic, isn't it? It's really good. I'm really pumped about that.
That's wicked, bro. I mean,
yeah, I'm happy with that. So I learned a lot. I went through a bit of a roller coaster of things, and then I moved. This is why it stopped the show.
I was gonna bring this up. So man, talking to you is like looking at myself in the mirror, because I moved as well. Like, and you move. It was like a big ass move, like you did. Like you went from one side of the country to the other, literally, right?
Yeah.
Like, talk about that. What was that like? What was there? So just wanted to get out, or
again, what happened? I fell back into the old drinking culture. As I think I get to a stage. I'm working this out as I'm speaking to you now. I get to a stage where I get success, or I'm doing well. Then I sabotage it. I don't know why. And so I started drinking again. And I thought, you know what? I need to split from this place. Not Gravesend as such, but I just need to move. I need something new in my life. And my wife's from Yorkshire. We looked at some houses up here, saw a great house. And then when I realized how much it was, I couldn't sign the paperwork fast enough because it was so cheap. And I live in Kent originally, and that's near London. So you
sold there, cashed in, and bought in wherever you were.
Yeah. Now. Yeah. Okay. Because where I was in Kent, it was about an hour away from central London.
Yeah.
And the prices are it's expensive, right? And so, but my money went further here, and I thought, let's move up. Okay, if I'm doing my podcast, I can still do it. It's all online anyway. I haven't got a studio or anything like that. Yeah. So moved up, and for years I didn't do nothing. I just sort of bummed around, no creativity, did a bit of photography because I like images. I'm currently addicted to reels on Instagram. Reels. Cool. I like making little videos, put the music on, mainly gym stuff at the moment.
And we're going to get to that, by the way, but yeah.
And so I like messing about with them at the moment, right? I like to do something creative, right? Yeah. Anyway, lockdown happened, right? So COVID come along, late 2019, 2020. Yeah. And obviously at the time, Zoom, everyone started talking about Zoom, didn't they? Yeah. Zoom, talk to each other on Zoom, right? And so I thought, what's this Zoom stuff, right? It can't be that good. I heard about Skype, and I didn't like the sound quality.
Yeah, Skype was shit. Yeah.
And so a lot of the news stations here, and the Sky Sports news station, they started interviewing like football players, soccer players, and football players, mate. And they started interviewing them via Zoom, like for interviews and things, and showing them training at home. And it was Dips Bamra who said to me, not name dropping, but Dips Bamra from the BBC Asian Network said to me, why don't you do your show and do it via Zoom? And I said, nah, I like doing it in person. I like the banter, the sort of, the environment of being with someone, you can't bounce off. He goes, look, if it's good enough for Sky Sports, it's going to be good enough for you. And then I thought about it. I thought he's right.
Yeah.
Literally every major broadcast, the BBC are the broadcasting bastions, right? So if they can do it on Zoom, I'm sure I can do it, right? So I thought, all right, who am I going to get on? So obviously this time I know people and I've got a bit of history. So I thought it'd be easy. But I thought I'd get PDM on. And so I got my group together.
Great one, by the way. That was good.
Yeah. So it's just us lot together. We did a quiz because I thought I can't interview them. There's too many of them and they're going to mess about. They're going to mess about, right? So we did a quiz on PDM so we could talk about the history while keeping them in check, right? It was a nightmare. There's a worse one to do first because what I didn't realize, you get 7 or 8 people, you get 7 or 8 audio files and 8 of and you get a video file, right? And I thought, oh my God, I've got a bloody edit.
I can't imagine,
It's too many, right? Anyway, I should have done with one. Anyway, I did that and I put it out there and people liked it. They liked the videos. They go, why don't you put the videos out? And I said, no, mine's an audio podcast, like being a snob. I do audio, I don't do video. I'm not a YouTuber. Yeah. Like it's a disgusting word. I'm not a YouTuber, right? I'm a podcaster. I'm a proper podcaster. None of this overproduced team of people making a podcast. It's a one-man show, right? Anyway, people kept saying, put the videos out. And I was like, okay, I'll put some videos out, right? So I think about the 20th show, I did loads of shows because it's easy. Remember, I used to travel around interviewing people, like for one show. I could do 3 interviews in a day.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. And I thought, because no one could say no either, even though they did, but they couldn't really say no because they're in a flipping lockdown.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, where are you going? You can't leave the house.
Yeah.
You got to come on my show, right? Anyway, so I've got loads of people on. I've got comedians on, and then I called it the SMT because one thing in my mind, I've kind of put myself in a little bracket of British Asians, and it became very Punjabi. There wasn't enough diversity, even Asian diversity on it. Fair right?
Yep.
I didn't have any Sri Lankans on it, Bangladeshis, Muslims, Pakistanis, and I knew they were doing some great things out there. There's some great Pakistani singers and rappers, and I thought, I'm going to make a name where it's open. Anyone can come on. A black, brown, white, whatever. Right? It doesn't matter. You just got to be interesting. So that was the aim for it, right? And people kept hammering on about, we want to see the videos. You got the videos now. Because I used to do little promos, you see, of the audio, and it'd be like a video. Snippet. But I wouldn't do the whole video. It would just be a snippet. And I go, why don't we show the whole video? And then I started messing around with YouTube. I don't know if I spoke to you about YouTube. It was just a new platform to learn. It's a nightmare for me, right? Big files, a lot of editing, a lot of color grading. That's why they were black and white. I thought, forget this color shit. They're all going black and white job. And then I sold it as an artistic expression. Yeah. Because you could focus in on the conversation. Yeah. Real nonsense, really. I just didn't want to color grade them. Yeah. And differences in,
I'm color grading this. I'll tell you that now. This is what you get. No.
Exactly. So I just put them black and white, right? And put them out there. People started liking it. So again, not big views really, because I didn't really know the platform. I didn't know how it worked. And then once you do it, you start looking at other videos and think, well, I need to have a border around this. I need to make it look pretty. Because it was literally this screen that you're looking at now. That's what it was.
Yeah. And the overlays and stuff. See, I can't do any of that stuff. I don't know how to do it.
I learned it. It's a nightmare. And then I had the background of record covers. I don't even remember, right? They were record covers. Yeah. And then I thought, I'm going to need to change the background. So I did this background, painted this, right, late at night. And never utilized it. Did about 2 shows and just called, I've had enough. I've had enough of this. I've done about 40 shows. I thought, you know what? I just don't. I'd lost something in it. And at the same time, I was training a lot. I was doing a lot of gym work. And I just loved being in the gym.
Yeah.
And what was happening, I was doing really late editing sessions, as you probably know, late into the night. And I was waking up tired and it's affecting my training. Right. And I was just tired. And I just thought, I really love training and I do love this, but it's a lot of work. I haven't got time to edit. I love the interviews. I love doing this. Right. And, but if I had these files afterwards, I'd be like, I'm going to have to edit this and do this, that. And so I said, all right, what I'm going to do is if I can get someone to do this for me, I'll carry on. And I didn't really pursue it. I looked around on Fiverr.
Yep.
either,
Yeah.
right? And I thought, yeah, I don't know if these guys are going to be any good. Problem is, right? Right. I want someone else to do it, but I'm a super control freak as well
Yep.
about the quality and why I like things and the way I want it and the ball, the way everything is, right? And so I'm in that position at the moment where, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it, but I can't do a show a week. I can't do it anymore. I'm just doing too many. I got into jiu-jitsu as well, and
Oh, cool, man.
yeah,
That's awesome.
that's my new thing at the moment. I love jiu-jitsu, and I go to a Gracie Barra one here,
Okay.
and we've got a great professor, Oliver Lavelle, Coach Dan, and Coach Matt. Big shout out to them, right? And fantastic humans. You know, they're teaching you something, life skills. So you're learning jiu-jitsu. You are learning how to kill someone. Let's be honest. But what also
In
they teach you
self-defense.
in self-defense, yeah. Only if they raise a hand, right? And
Yeah.
but no, on a truthful note, it's about life. It's jiu-jitsu for me. It's a metaphor of life, because when you're rolling or you're sparring someone, you're put in some uncomfortable positions. You can have another person on your back trying to choke you out, you know, and you are in a really bad position. You think you can't get out of it, but somehow, but you can get out of it. There's ways you learn, right?
Yeah.
And then you get the upper hand, and then they are in a bad situation, but then they get the upper, and it's a back and forth, back and forth. So what you do is learn to adapt to a scenario. Yeah. And I love that about it. I love the mental aspect of it, because it's a life lesson, because you could be in a bad situation. And I relate it to the past of drinking. You're in a bad situation. Anyone that's in that situation now, in the, you know, drinking, drugs, or whatever it could be, overeating, you could be in a position where you think, this is it, my life. This is all I'm ever going to be. But you're not.
Yeah.
You absolutely not. But and it can all change with a decision. You
Yep.
can make a choice. You can make a choice and say, you know what, I don't want to live like this anymore. And I'm not going to live like this. And you know what, I'm not going to talk to these people anymore, because they're not healthy for me. I don't mean they're not my friends, but I need some time on my own to fix myself. And I'm not doing it for my family. I'm not doing it for other people. I'm going to do it for myself first. And I think that's mega important, because you can't be of value to them if you don't sort yourself out first.
Yeah.
And if you do it because people are forcing you, if your family said, look, you got to stop drinking, you know, you're ruining the family, we're always having arguments, and you say, all right, I'll stop because you keep nagging me.
Yeah.
Right? You will stop for a week or two, but that resentment's going to build, because you're thinking, I'm doing all this for you now, and you're still moaning. Because that's what happens in life. Things happen. People always argue, right? Even if you drink or don't drink, right? Or why are you not happy with me? Why are you still complaining about stuff? Why is life still going wrong? I've stopped drinking now. Everything should be perfect.
Yeah.
Right. And but it isn't. And so if you don't do it yourself, for yourself, it won't work. If you do it for other people, it won't work, because you'll resent them.
Temporary. Yeah.
You'll resent them for making you stop.
Yep.
Your perceived enjoyment that you're having in life, right? And so you do it for yourself. And jiu-jitsu is very much like, you do it. It's an individual game against someone, but it's a team effort as well, because you help each other. You're all learning. One day you're great. One day I walk out there thinking, I'm really getting this now. I should be a blue belt. Sat, right? Next lesson, I'm absolutely awful. Some beginner, some new guys turned up and just absolutely mauled me. And I'm thinking, I'm terrible. I was good the other day. Now it's terrible, right? And it's a great ego leveler. Yeah. So you can't walk in there with no ego. Yeah. You definitely don't walk out with an ego. Do that. But I just love it. And it's physical. It's great for my health. And I just love it. It's one. And that's kind of why this sort of media, when you asked me to come on this show, I started laughing. I was kind of surprised, because I haven't had that kind of message in years now, right? Or month, at least years. Yeah. Someone saying, "Oh, do you want to come on my show, or can I come on your show?" I've not had their messages, right? When you said that, I was super happy you're doing it again, right? Because we've always kept in touch. We always touch base at some point, right? I've always told you to take your music off. Remember when I said to you, okay, bro, take your music off, man. They're going to kick you off of was it SoundCloud?
Yeah,
You're like, nah, no.
I've been
And
lucky.
yeah, you'll be like, yeah.
However,
And
they'll kick me off Spotify and Apple for sure at some point. That's
yeah.
very
They will. You can't put music on there, right?
no.
And but anyway, we've always touched base, right?
Yeah.
And I always knew you did stuff, and you did your YouTube reviews and things like this. So I'm glad you're back on it. So what made you come back? Is it? I know you moved as well. Did you think, you know what?
Yeah, bro, same. It's just it's one of those things where I just need to change the environment for myself because if I would have stayed, it just would have been dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The girls were at an age where it made sense. They weren't too young, weren't too old. And they get by that everyone here is happy. They love it. Like I would never move back to Vancouver ever.
yeah,
Like no way. I'm sitting basically in your area, what you'd call the Lake District. It's beautiful out here.
nice. I've seen a few pictures.
Yeah.
Beautiful there. Yeah, yeah.
So, and for my mental health, it's been fantastic. It's
Uh huh.
given me an opportunity to get back into the gym. I mean, you inspired that, to be honest, like seeing you. It's like, man, fuck, Sat guy, he's a podcaster. I'm going to podcast, man. This guy's going to the gym. Nah, I'm going to go to the gym now too. I don't know if I'm going to do jujitsu. I'll tell you that. But
Do it.
no, seriously, I respect you, bro. And I look up to you, as a colleague, as a friend, as a brother. So seeing you, when I heard about your move and you moving out, I was so happy for you. I'm like, this is a guy who's taking control of his life and be like, you know what, fuck it. This is about me and my family, nobody else. And let's do it. And it's good to see, man. It's good to see you're rolling with your life and you're in a great space. Hopefully we'll see you soon, when the time is right for you to come back. I'm sure there will be, looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
No,
So
I appreciate the kind words. And yeah, the move thing was interesting because in Gravesend, it's probably like Vancouver as well. Very big Punjabi community. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of support there. If you need things done, if you need a plumber, you probably went to school with one who's
yeah.
a guy who's a plumber now or electrician. It's easy, isn't it? Life's easy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I got claustrophobic. I just thought, is this it? This small town, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to work, maybe do bits and bobs in media. And that's it. I thought there's a big world out there and or there's things out there that I haven't seen. And I want to, and the kids were young, a bit like you mentioned. And I thought, let's do it, man. Let's just see how it goes. And it was a big wrench because when I moved here, the house, there's always bits to do in the house. I know you've been
Why do you think my
house.
Screen is blurred, man? That's the kitchen behind me. You haven't finished.
Yeah, I know you, but you do a lot of work yourself, so I respect that.
Yeah.
You as well. Yeah, that's really something I can't,
bro.
Yeah, there's something I can't do.
Yeah.
See, these things happen to me. I watch you do it, and I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to make stuff. I'm going to do my kitchen up, and then I soon realize that's sometimes beyond me. But yeah, so the taps weren't working or something wrong with the boilers or something. I didn't know any plumbers here. I didn't know it. So I on Google and I'm thinking, well, he says he's a plumber. He's down the road. So let's just call it. It could be good, could be terrible, but it's just, and I got worried. I got a bit worried then because I kind of knew a lot of people in Gravesend.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Same
knew
with me, man. John Prashant Sigi, like.
Yeah, I knew people. I'll be like, hey, you know what? I need your van. I need your van in someone in Gravesend. I need to move this. They'll come round. Here, I'm thinking, I need to get rid of these mattresses. Anyway, but once you get past that hurdle, you settle into your life. And at the moment, I'm in a great space because that's why I'm probably not doing the podcast. I think I'll probably do the podcast when I'm in terrible spaces in my life. So when it comes back,
I gotta phone this guy. What's going on, bro?
Yeah. I'm doing a show. I'm on episode 100.
Yeah,
fuck everyone. Right? And that's when it all happens. But at the moment, I train. I love training. Training's a big thing for my life. It's people
science of the training, bro. Like like the PRs, the calories, and it's
everything.
I cook everything myself now. Like you probably see my dumbass recipes.
I love it. And you're looking fantastic, and you've lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
you're getting some definition in the arms. I can see, and your shoulders. So yeah, it's working. Sometimes someone else needs to see you because you look at yourself and you think, nothing's happening, man. You look at the weight on the
No, bro, let
scale.
me tell you, when you had that one recent post where you had your shirt off stuff, I'm like, oh my god, here we go. Now I got to do this.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
No, I'm just
it,
joking. Those you look, it's great, bro. Like it's nice. I guess because I've seen you, I feel like I know you. Like like Dylan, I'm telling you, bro. Like seeing you in this space the way you are now is absolutely fucking fantastic. Knowing that where you are mentally, especially with your family, because man, I know, man, I got girls too, bro. So and I see when you post, pics of your girls and stuff, and I see you with them, it's like this is awesome. Like this is life. Like I can
yeah,
tell you, the day I moved, the furniture truck got late, broke down. They're supposed to come the next day. So we all slept on the floor on this ugly, shaggy carpet. No Regina. It was the best sleep of my life.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That shanti of leaving that life behind me, as hard as it was. Like I miss my boys. Like, my mom and dad are still there, even though they're moving closer to me now. My sister's there. That was a big part of my life, bro. Like
yeah, yeah,
Vancouver's the core of my brand, like DG Reminisce. I rep it every day. But when that night when I slept, it's probably some of the best sleep I've ever had in my life. That
yeah,
shanti I got.
yeah. No, no, I can definitely relate to that. And my first night in the new house, I was scared. I was scared. It just new odd house, and
Yeah,
it just felt
different.
weird.
Yeah.
It was different, and I don't know. I just felt odd in a new house. It's empty. There's boxes everywhere,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
I just but I had a few drinks and I was soon asleep, mate.
there you go. Bro, I don't know what to say, man. This is some of the best conversation I've had in a long time. I really appreciate it. Having, it's like boys talking boys, man. It's like me and you having a drink in some pub. I really enjoyed it. I hope
No,
you had a
no,
good time. And
I want to. I definitely, before I go, I want to thank you. Yeah, I've got nothing to plug this time for once in my
really,
life.
okay,
I've got nothing to plug. I've got no websites,
okay.
no show, no album coming out, no new radio slot or anything like that. Or I'm not selling any t-shirts.
Oh man, I was gonna say.
So no, this is nice just to come on and just to talk. And for you, your training, I've seen you training, and a lot of people give up, and you haven't. You're really nailing in your diet, which is amazing, right? That's
Yeah,
what you need
trying
to do.
to.
That's one of the key things. We always try. I'm not perfect by any means. I eat all
No.
sorts of stuff, right? And but
Yeah, you do,
the
man.
main,
You're gonna crash and burn like 1 week out of like that's life. Like my
yeah.
thing is, I still gotta enjoy life.
Look, 90% of the time, if you're good, you're fine. If
Yeah.
10%, give you. I've got a good relationship with food. I've always have. I not. If I
Yeah.
want a pizza, I'll have a pizza. If I want a
Yeah.
burger, I'll have it. I don't.
Yeah.
Then next day on a treadmill, um, run, trying to burn the calories off.
Yeah.
I'm not really. I'm not like that, right? So, um, but the point is with all things in life, if you want to do a podcast or I don't know, want to start a band, which will be great if people started bands again, and or if you want to do anything, you just got to turn up. Like people say to me, "How do you train every day? Why'd you get up at 4:30 in the morning?" I get up at 4:30 because I've got a family, and if I don't do it at 4:30, life's going to get in the way. They want my time, and it's just gonna. I'm not gonna do it, right? So I just
Same.
get up,
Yeah.
and it's many times I don't want to do it. I don't want to get up. I don't jump out of bed thinking, yeah, come on, carpe diem. I'm going to seize the day, right? And
Yeah.
I want to go back to bed.
Yeah.
I want to sleep, right? But so I built in routines. I did instead of waiting on motivation, because if you wait for motivation, it's not going to happen. You're going to be motivated for the first couple of days, maybe a week, but then it's going to be a chore. So you got to put them routines in. I did the same with the podcast. I turned it into a routine. This is when I interview. This is how I edit. This is how I do this. Right? It was always a routine, and that works for me better than doing it when I want to do it. Because the best routine, the best sessions of training I ever had, even with jiu-jitsu, there's times when I didn't want to go, felt a bit tired. It was an evening lesson.
Yeah.
They've been the best sessions. I've come out of there and I thought, wow, I'm glad I came today. There's the last time I got my third stripe is I didn't want to go. I was tired. I had a bit of an injury, and I thought, but I like to go 3 times a week. So I went, and that's when I got my stripe.
That's
And
cool.
I was so elated, right? Because I
Yeah.
can go to the advanced classes now, which is fantastic. But I thought, and I driving home thinking, you know what? I may not have come today. I may not feel like I'm feeling now. It would have maybe been next week or the week after. And so that's the point of always just turning up. And I've done sessions in the morning when I was like dragging myself out of bed, felt awful, felt hungry, felt tired. But at the end of it, I felt fantastic. And I felt strong today.
Yeah.
No, I'm the man. And then
Yeah.
the next day you feel terrible. Okay, yeah, it's life, up and down. You just keep going, routines. But look, I won't keep going on. I remember because when I used to do the shows, I used to sometimes have guests that'll carry on talking and talking and
It's
talking.
all good, bro.
I was thinking, all right, mate, you've sold your album. We know it's coming out. Get off. I got to edit this, so
No, man.
I got to convert. I got to convert it to black and white.
No, these are important, man. These are important things. When people listen to it, it might inspire someone to do something. Like, you
I hope
inspired me
so.
to do something. So I know
I
how you feel,
appreciate it.
bro. Like I've been there where I've done like, 8-hour drives, from one side of the province
I
to the
know.
other.
Yeah.
Come home, I'll be like, kids, hey, dad, hey, I'll be back. I gotta go for my run. They're like, what?
Oh no,
You
no,
just got
yeah,
home. But it's that I know for myself that if I don't stick to routine, it's done. Like I can tell
yeah,
you, during COVID, the gyms were shut for 5 weeks.
yeah.
This last restrictions, bro. Since then, it's been very difficult to get back into them. Because remember, I've been going straight for like 8 months,
Mm,
regular 5
yeah,
a.m. 5 a.m. club, six
yeah,
days a week. I'm on PPL, push pull legs,
yeah,
rest day, push pull legs, rest day, consistent. You know, and then when they
yeah.
take that from you, it just really, because I didn't invest in equipment in my place, which I'm still thinking about.
Mm.
So I know what you mean. Like it's like someone sucked a part of your life that you worked so hard for.
I think the gym's closing was a big impact on a lot of people's mental health.
Well, mine was for
Uh,
sure mine. I was a
yeah,
prick.
yeah. I think people, governments didn't understand.
Hmm.
Gyms were important to people. They are important to people. That's where a lot of people let off steam. They
Yeah.
relax. For a lot of people, that's meditation for them.
Yep.
And I was lucky that I had stuff at home. I
Yeah,
was
you got
just
a good setup, bro. I like that.
yeah, I was just lucky, and I can understand other people, you know, upset that they couldn't go. And here I am posting pictures of me in my shiny squat rack,
Yeah.
working out, thinking it's fine. I love it. I love
Yeah.
lockdown. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's
it
great.
went right, but but you keep going on, keep carrying on. Fantastic. You're coming back. Can't wait to listen to the other guests. There's some other great podcasts out there as well. There's some UK ones you need to check out. There's
Make
one
sure you
called
send me some notes and I'll definitely check
yeah,
them out.
yeah. One's called Bandwagon.
Yeah,
Uh,
Ranjit. Yeah, I've been on his.
Rajit, yeah, he's
Yeah.
very very nice guy. He shows probably the most similar to what I had. I think
Yeah.
some of the guests and types he's had.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one's Culture Cast. He has some great fitness people on Culture Cast.
Okay, I'll check that
and
out.
he's got a great style because you don't never see him. You don't see him. You
Okay.
hear his voice, but you don't
Yeah.
see his face. And for someone like me with a big ego, that's ridiculous. Everyone should see my face. But yeah,
That's
big up
wild,
to them
bro.
too. Big up to them
Yeah.
too.
Bro,
And to
thanks, man.
yourself, man. And to yourself. And
Thanks.
to yourself, man. Good luck with all your ventures. And well, hopefully let's do it again soon.
Thanks, bro. I really appreciate it, man. Nice talking to you, bro.
Yeah. Take care. All the best.
Yeah.